right, so welcome to the Rocket Launcher podcast. I am Supreme King, and I am joined here by my co-host. This is
It's your boy
Omazus.
Omazus.
How you doing, sir?
I'm good. How are you?
I am excellent. So this is the very first podcast. I do want to address one thing. Um, if you hear my squeaky chair, or if you hear the drain in the background, I can't help that. Leave me alone. I don't know how to deal with that. I can't fix it. I can only try to minimize it. But if it's in the background, oh well. All right.
I
Oh
mean, there's
well.
only there's only one fix to it, man. You gotta move.
I
You gotta
gotta
go a whole new
move.
place.
I gotta get a whole new
Yeah,
place, or just do it outside and deal with the wind. You know
there
what I'm
you go.
saying? You just deal with the wind. But yeah, man. So first episode for everybody else. For us, this is like episode 300 or something. I don't know.
Woo, for
We
real.
didn't we didn't done it for a while, so this is nothing new for us. But anyways, I have on my little sheet of paper. The first thing for us to talk about is actually the Summer Games Fest. Did you see the full show?
Sure did. Watched the whole thing. Wrote down a lot of the announcements.
Okay.
A bunch of stuff looks good. Some of it though, little questionable on some things. I
Okay.
could jump right into that. Like the
Sure.
first one, was Alien Dark Descent. Um, it
I
was like
was
the second trailer
confused for a
shown.
second. Yeah. Go ahead on what you got to say about it, and
Yeah,
I'll tell you what.
beautiful, like cinematic. A little confusing, but I was able to kind of follow along. It
Okay.
was the last 10 seconds of the trailer because it was. I thought this was like a DLC for Aliens Fire Team,
Right.
Elite, and I'm watching it and I'm like, okay, we're gonna get some good stuff, and then it randomly just cuts to this like top down like stationary shooting view like for
Right.
just a quick second and then just shows the title, and I'm like, well dang, I should have seen more gameplay, like because this is not at all what I thought it was about to be.
You know what's crazy? I have a video that highlights this a little bit. And the first thing I was thinking was that it probably was more DLC for the other one. But
Uh-huh.
I quickly found out that no, that's not the case. And I'm like, well, this is like the third Alien game recently, right? So it's like,
Yeah.
is this franchise a big franchise? Is there a big fan base for Alien all of a sudden? Because it's like it's coming out really frequent when you think about it overall for just a game based off of the movie. You know?
Yeah, I think what helps is that it's a easy way to do a horde mode that's not zombies.
Okay.
Right? It's recognizable. It's a title that people know. You can have the aliens move around all creepily and like quick and everything, and you don't have to like generically just use zombie hordes. I think that's where it's like a really good substitute.
Yeah, it was just for me. I was just looking at it like, yo, this is really their third game, like the third
Yeah,
one, and still no Power Ranger game, but that's okay. There is a Power Ranger, side scroller, but
yeah. No AAA
no AAA
yet.
yet. You know what
Hopefully,
I'm
it's a
saying?
yet.
Yeah, but I ain't gonna do that. Are you gonna play this? You gonna
I want to see more about it first. Like, I'm not completely against like top down, or even if it's like a real time strategy, or one of those tactical games. I'm not against it. It was just seeing that trailer followed by that quick game footage caught me off guard. So I definitely need to see more first. What about you?
um I don't know. You know what's funny? I'll have to give a shout out to Epic Games on the PC because I didn't buy the other Alien game, the more horror one where you had to go and hide. But they gave that one
Yeah,
away, and then they gave away a whole bunch of games that I was thinking about getting, but just chose not to. And then all of a sudden they're there, and I almost feel like this would be in that category just for me. Like I don't feel like I need to play this one right away. It's like only if it has a lot of co-op and stuff, then yeah, I'll play with people and everything. But as far as a personal get, it's more of a pass for me right now. Um, the movies is more it for me. I don't think it translates to a game for me that I would want. Just me,
okay.
but
Sounds good. I know before that they had the Street Fighter trailer, and then after the Alien Dark Descent, they had more of the Callisto Protocol.
Now,
Now that game got me
Callisto
excited.
is awesome. Let me tell you
Yeah.
about Callisto for a second. I looked at that and was like, that is a game I would want to play. That was the game that made sense for somebody like me. Like, they didn't make it cute and cuddly or nothing. There's a lot of games where you shoot other people and it's like way more cute. You know what I'm saying? It's like there's
Yeah.
no you don't shoot somebody and then there's no blood. It's like that's a game where you would shoot and like a part of the body just gets blown off. Like that's more realistic and it's more like really traumatizing to an extent. You know what I'm saying? It's like everybody else in a lot of games is more bubblegum shots. Like you got popped and you fall down kind of thing. It's like yo,
Uh huh.
body parts was like getting blasted off. You know what I mean? With the
Oh
blood
yeah.
everywhere and
I just know I'm gonna be in a panic if like I'm over here shooting and then the body just starts crawling at me on the ground.
yeah,
Like,
yeah. The Dead Space
oh,
and the Resident Evil vibes is like,
uh
yo,
huh.
I'm definitely that might be something I like because that's right before Christmas. It might be a Christmas buy for me, right? Because I
Yeah.
normally don't get games right away, but I would still want to make sure it's not a buggy mess. But
Yeah.
that,
One thing that did concern me though
yeah,
is, and it sometimes does concern me with like newer games. Um, it already like noted that it has a digital deluxe edition
okay,
as well. Like, so I'm wondering like how much more is being planned in addition, like to justify the digital deluxe. It's always weird to me when a new game has it because it's just like I want to see the game first. But I guess everything comes out with a digital deluxe now.
yeah. I don't know if we know about it yet. Like, do we know if it's not just clothes or like a random gun, or is it
That's what I want to
actually?
see.
Yeah, like
Uh,
it does look a little funny when you see games they don't come out with the content complete. It's like I didn't even
uh,
want to settle for games having the like tires and stuff not in the
yeah,
game. I think
yeah,
Saints Row got some praise for being a game where you can customize it completely within game recently. And for
yeah.
me it
Have
was
you
like
checked that out?
I saw the footage. To me, I was just thinking like,
Uh,
yo, that's something we was doing like in the other games, like when we was playing four and stuff. You can just customize anyway. I feel like that should be standard, but
yeah,
it's not standard anymore. You got to buy all these things, I guess. And so for them to
yeah.
do that, I guess it's kudos to them. But it's like everybody else is like enough with the microtransactions. But it won't go away until people stop buying them. So
True.
um,
Now I will say though, for the Saints Row that you brought it up, I
yes.
did go ahead and try out the Boss Factory demo that they released,
Okay.
where you can start creating your person. Um, it is more detailed than four, and
Really?
three in return. Yeah, so like they went into levels of detail for like um mix matching like facial structure, and like changing like your eye shape and like going in details with like depth and width and all of that stuff. It's making the person look exactly how you want them to look. It's a lot more detailed there.
Oh, that's interesting. That's
Yeah.
interesting. Yeah. I
Oh,
still got some hope for the game. I mean, it's still a little cartoony looking, but Saints Row originally was more serious, but I guess you could officially say it's not a serious game no more if you got more games that are not serious compared to the original ones was 1 and 2 that was
yeah.
more of a serious tone to an extent. But 3, 4, and now this one is like, well, now you got more games that's not serious. It's kind of like one of those things where, like, like how people would say Eminem is the greatest or one of the greatest, and then out of nowhere he'll have a lot more albums that's different from what he had in the early 2000s. And it's like, well, at some point, the new Eminem trumps the old one as far
Yeah.
as volume. I don't know. I
Yeah.
don't know.
So I jumped in, towards the goofier stuff for Saints Row, so I guess I don't mind it that much.
Right.
'Cause I like that it didn't just feel like it felt like I was playing a Grand Theft Auto parody as opposed to a Grand Theft Auto ripoff. Right? Like the difference where it's
Right.
like it's intentionally funny. It's almost like in a way mocking it, but like it doing its own thing. So I didn't mind the fun stuff.
Speaking of ripoffs, I already have a video
Uh-huh.
coming out on this, but I guess we could talk about this real quick. The Breath of the Wild ripoff called Sonic Frontiers. Let's just keep it a little brief. We
We
don't
can
have to.
jump in there.
We could talk about it for a split second. Then we're gonna get back to the Summer Games Fest. I think there's a couple more things in there I think we could talk about. But
Yeah.
Sonic. Okay. I'm gonna mention this later in a vid, and you just got smashed. I just saw that. Did you see that?
Yeah.
You see the screen?
Yeah.
You took that headshot.
Look, man, it's not that easy of a game.
Okay.
I can't tell you
alright.
how many times you see something you just want to press X or triangle and it just doesn't do it with anything. Like
Yeah.
you gotta really boot out your Tony Hawk gameplay inputs for this game. Like I'm far into it.
It looks
Like out of
fun.
the 5 stages, I'm in like the third one, and I still hit the wrong button sometimes.
It looked fun. That's why I wanted to
Yeah.
put it first. I think it is because I don't see anybody highlight this. I think we should become the people who highlight some of the indies because at the very least it's like what are we spending $10-15 and then we can show off some really cool stuff if it's really good. If it's good.
Yeah. So I will say really, really quick
yeah.
for this game for people wondering, it's Ollie Ollie World.
Yes.
It's actually the third, I believe, in their series. However,
Okay.
I jumped in on this one because it was described as like very accessible for everybody. Like you don't have to like master the controls by the time you do this one. And they seem relatively disconnected, so you're not like missing any plot. But it's a nice little skateboard platformer. I definitely recommend it.
Now you know what this reminds me of immediately, and I'm pretty sure they had this in mind, but Nickelodeon's Rocket Power. This just
Yeah.
screams it. Nickelodeon's Rocket Power. I'm showing my
Yeah.
age, but Nickelodeon's
It
Rocket
does.
Power is what this reminds me of. So I used to watch that
For
a
the
lot.
newer people,
Yeah.
yeah, for the newer kids, it is designed a little bit like Adventure Time.
Okay.
For those that know that, but yeah, definitely makes me think of Rocket Power.
And is this like this is roguelike, right? Because you every time you get smacked in the head or something, you start the level over
No,
a
you
little
can
bit.
still restart from the checkpoint, but you
Okay,
get
the
points
checkpoint.
if
But
you
yeah, okay.
yeah, you get points if you go through the whole level without having to restart from a checkpoint. So usually that's why you see me restarting a lot.
Okay. But yes, Sonic
Sonic
Frontiers.
Frontiers.
The only thing that I just wanted to point out because we talked. Well, nobody else heard what we talked about before because this is the first ever episode, right? But we was basically saying. Well, I was basically saying it looked like Breath of the Wild. It looked like a Breath of the Wild clone. It didn't look like Sonic had his own identity. That's something I just said in a vid. But also, they just released another trailer this week where he's having his combat. And they was trying to do like some sort of Dragon Ball Z light kind of thing going on. And I'm just looking at it like it just didn't feel like Sonic. Like you're still in this open world area and stuff. And I think in the trailer they mentioned that Sonic was put on an island. And it's like let's call a spade a spade. It's a map. They had to make it a map, and so that was their excuse is that he's on an island. But it's like how did that look to you? It didn't look good to me. Just
I
the
watched
punching
the
and kicking.
7-minute combat thing. Yeah, it looked a little weird. Like the only attack that looked like Sonic, for the most part, was the final move where he like runs around them and then like hits them. But even then, it just didn't look right. Like I don't know.
It looks like you watch it more than you actually play it. Like that's how
Yeah.
it looked to me. It don't look like you
My
you play it.
My
But yeah.
big issue with the game, it looks slow. Like there was even parts where Sonic was just kind of walking around a temple and everything all casually in the
Hmm.
gameplay, and like it looked slow. It's a weird, like you said, Breath of the Wild's map, but then it has like random rails and bumpers like everywhere, and it's like when he does the little bumper thing, that's the time it looks like Sonic. But other than that, even with things loading in, uh like this is a case for a game where I would want things to load in after he's already made it there. Because it's like things are just there in the background and you feel like you're slowly approaching it. It's like Sonic
Yeah.
is supposed to be fast, right?
Yeah.
Because it doesn't feel fast in this game. Like he feels like maybe if like different things on the map, like locations, even if they maybe had a little number to tell you like how far away it is, and as you're running, you can see that number going down really fast.
Yeah.
Just something to make it feel like he's actually moving at fast speed.
Yeah, I think for Sonic, the first trailer I did notice pop in because in moments it was stuff was just not rendering quick enough, I guess, and stuff in the background would pop in here and there. In the second trailer, I was trying to pay more attention to Sonic, but the main thing that I just kept noticing was just like Sonic is a small character, right? So he's got like he's fast technically, but he's got little arms and little legs. So when you see him
Uh-huh.
doing punches and kicks, it looked goofy. It didn't look
Yeah.
right. It didn't look like Sonic like he normally spins in a ball and does the homing attack. He did it a little bit in the trailer for a split second, and then it was back to like the punches and the kicks and then like a go back and charge forward thing. But by the time you get to the charge forward thing, it seems like he's like basically like the computer is doing it and you just watching it. Like it's not really you doing it, you know. And it's a little
Yeah.
bit more cinematic, and it's like that was one thing about the Sonic games. Like they relied on that. The more recent ones that were more 3D, where it's all about you see him go through the loops and the camera would draw back a little bit, and it's almost like watching a roller coaster ride for a second. You could almost put the controller completely down, you know. You would
Yeah.
keep holding it just to feel the rumble, but a lot of it you're not really doing anything. Like it's Sonic. So I said this in a video that is probably coming out like a Wednesday or Thursday, but all he has to do is run. That's it.
Yeah.
Because I feel like
Yeah.
they add more work for themselves in a wrong way, though. It's like he just had to have tunnel vision and just move forward, you
Yeah.
know? And they have him in this open world area. And the first trailer, there was a lot of moments where he just kind of stops and just walks around and you kind of pan out.
Yes.
And I'm like, that's all Breath of the Wild. I'm like, that's fine for a Link. It's not fine
Yeah.
for Sonic. It don't
I agree.
match Sonic. He's is so the main video or the main thing I was gonna say before was just I think he lost his identity, at least in the gaming space.
Yeah.
I think it's almost gone because at one point did he turn him into a wolf? At another point he was making out with a human girl. It was just Sonic has been all over the place. They tried introducing like I forgot what the white one's name was, and then they had Shadow, and then they kind of silent Shadow after a while, and it was just like all you have to
Still
do is
there.
just run. All you have to do is
Yeah.
run. You have to make a whole bunch of characters, Big the cat and the alligator, all these people. I'm like, all you
Yeah.
gotta do is just run. That's it. Like we doing all this other stuff, just let the dude run. I don't
So
know.
I don't know if maybe this would have been too much work,
Yeah,
but maybe like an open world. Well, like when I heard it was open world, my thought process was going to be like it was going to be an open world game where they're like get to this location, and then just how you get there is on you. So it's like there's a bunch of things in the way, but like if you're running fast enough, then you could like run across like the wall of a building. But if you lose your speed, you're gonna fall, or like if you go this other direction, maybe there are a bunch of bumpers, and like this third direction happens to have rails to get there. So it's like how like what you have to traverse through depends on the way you went, but it's just get from point A to point B, like a real just 3D platformer.
Right.
You could throw a few like random enemies in there, like how the old Sonic games had like the enemies that you kind of jump over, and it's your choice to either jump over them or attack them. And you can easily do something where, like, as you're moving and you turn into the ball, the idea is when you attack them, you're trying to chain your attacks so you can keep your combo going and don't lose speed. So after you just kind of like turn into a ball and hit them all like a pinball machine, then you just zoom off, continuing on your path. Like it's just like a very open like playground as opposed to like Breath of the Wild's thing. So
Yeah.
that's what I was hoping for, but
yeah, Breath of the Wild 2 is probably still going to be really good. It's going to have a great fan base.
Sure.
And it's just like everything else. Like once the official Breath of the Wild 2 comes out, all of the imitators are just going to get thrown to the wayside, because they didn't have an identity to begin with. They were trying to be Breath of the Wild. So once the real thing comes out, what is the Sonic game or Genshin Impact, another one? I don't even know how many people are playing Immortal Phoenix Rising anymore, but like nobody's gonna play them no more.
I forgot about that game.
Yeah,
I forgot about Immortal Phoenix Rising. Yeah,
they're just gonna be thrown away because the real one's here, the one everybody was trying to be.
Yep.
And so, yeah, Sonic just needs to run. Let the dude run, for crying out loud. Run like somebody stole something from him or something. I don't know. Let him run. That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. That's all I can say about Sonic. I don't know. Anything else about Sonic?
No, nothing about Sonic.
Do you want to play this game?
Yes. Okay. I don't know if it's like a day one or month buy for me. This might be a definite for sure wait. I do want to play it. I've played several of the other Sonic games, and I've played a lot of the poorly reviewed Sonic games. So I would like to see, I guess where this one stacks. Like I've played the Werewolf one, and I've played Shadow the Hedgehog and Sonic Forces, and then I've also played, like Sonic Battle 2 and some of the classic ones as well. So I like to see where this one falls.
Well, let's keep it real. Is it just because it's Sonic in the game
that I want to play it?
Yes.
Partly. I think it's not necessarily the fact that it's Sonic. It's more of a curiosity to see what they do to Sonic, if that makes sense. So it's not just like the blind, Sonic's name is on it and I want to get it. It's more like, Sonic's what's about to happen. Is this going to actually be good? So I guess in a way, yeah, it's Sonic's name attached to it. Like if it wasn't Sonic, I probably wouldn't have paid as much attention to it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to jump on anybody who will listen to this, but let's keep it real. If you take the name Sonic off of it and you swap it out with, let's say, Biomutant. Biomutant looked the same way. Ain't nobody played it. Because it was Biomutant and not Sonic, right?
Yeah, and I was interested in the Biomutant at first.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it is. No, that makes sense. But you know what? Let's hope that it is gonna be good. Like, let's hope that this early build and trailer is they're showing it. They're gonna take feedback like they did with Ugly Sonic and see what they do with it.
Well, that would mean they would have to push that bad boy back then, right? They would have to.
When is this released?
I don't know. I feel like I should look that up. But I know it didn't seem like they would. It seemed like they would look like they were probably ready to go. Because usually when somebody's in a position where they're showing 4 or 5 minutes of some form of a gameplay, like they think they're ready to release and they got something hot, It's only I think it was Forspoken. They kind of moonwalked for a second because I remember they took that footage down. That was like the only one I could think of. But everybody else, well, you know what? Saints Row pushed it back a little bit. Saints Saints Row is like, all right, we up out of here. Y'all ain't about to kill our franchise. But I still
Yeah.
feel like they made a good move. They made a good move because Elden Ring slaughtered like 8 games. There was like
Yes.
I remember that whole month everybody before it was talking about, oh, it's gonna be so many games coming out. The second Elden Ring came out, nothing else was talked about. I mean,
Yep.
everything was just silenced. It was crazy. Crazy. But
Yep.
yeah.
Oh, and Sonic's supposed to come out this year at the end of the year.
Okay, do you know if it's the same day as Callisto Protocol? Because something was coming out the same day as that. I forgot what it was.
No, it says late 20.
Oh, I think I know what it is now. I think I do know. And this might be a great segue. I still want to get back to the summer games for a second, but this got to be its own section. I'm definitely probably going to clip this, but Last of Us 2, or not 2. Let me say that again.
Yeah.
Last
That's
of Us remake of the first game, Super Remastered, Super Saiyan Remastered 3 is coming out at the end of this year, I think, by a leak. Or,
Yeah.
I don't know.
2?
Yeah,
December
that's the
2nd?
I think that's the same day as the Callisto game.
It is. Callisto is December 2nd for sure.
Bro, we're gonna see some hot protests there. Now I am a huge fan of the first game. It was given away a bunch of times and I actually bought it physical. And I want to play it again, but I don't want to play, or I don't want to say I don't want to play, but I don't want to pay. I'll put it that way.
Yeah.
I don't want to pay for the PS5 version of this game or PC Super version of this game. Because they sat there and told us with a straight face that it was, built from the ground up when it's clearly Last of Us 2 with the extra PS5 textures on it. And what's so crazy about it is Last of Us 2 had the flashback sequences in it, right? Where you actually saw Joel and Ellie, like when they was going around, they even fought a bloater at one point. And they looked like their original counterparts from the first game in that game. Here, they just retextured everything. Now, I'm not going to try to act like it's something that's easy to do. But maybe it is for somebody like Naughty Dog. Naughty Dog supposed to be a really top studio, so maybe it was easy for them to do. And people were saying that they copied a Rockstar move with like how they did the GTA trilogy, and it's just retextures real quick. They just put a new coat of paint. The only way it will be different, I'll let you talk in a second. The only way it will be real different is if they had the crouch mechanics from Last of Us 2 in Last of Us 1 where you're able to crawl around in the grass. But then it kind of exposes a little bit like, yeah, it is the Last of Us 2 game with those textures of the first game in it, basically. But yeah, what were you going to say?
I was going to say, I feel like he was a bit overselling it. Because one of the phrases that caught me was when he said, like, from the reworking from the ground up, and he's like, to be able to tell their story better, to go more in depth, is how he put it.
Yeah.
He said to go more in depth, but then they also pretty much said that there was no new voice recording lines. So in my head, I was like, how can you get more in depth if you didn't record any more? And I was like, oh, so you just mean more facial expressions. Like that's instantly what I thought.
Yeah.
We'll see.
I do think, like, not to take anything away from Last of Us as far as like a game, the gameplay again is phenomenal. Phenomenal gameplay. The first one, the second one is also very good as far as gameplay. It's just PlayStation in general, this idea of having to, keep rebuying stuff, it's just crazy. Like, just like I would have expected the $10 upgrade at this point. Like, I think everybody would have been more accepting of that, but they got that Firefly edition that's $100. You ready to come about that $100 for that Firefly edition, man? Like, I don't know what is in it, but I don't know. You get some extra guns. Maybe you get a keychain. I'm like, I don't know. All I know is it's a Firefly edition. So far we don't know all the details, but apparently the multiplayer is not attached to it. Um, yeah. So
Yeah, well, that's another thing. The multiplayer is gonna be its own game. So when I first heard that, I was just like, so instead of like the edition is just gonna be its own $70 thing. Like I always think like way to
yeah.
like try squeeze more money. However, I'm interested to see what they're gonna do with it. In my head, it's just gonna be a co-op survival. Although they did say that there was a story in it, but I'm wondering
I mean, if it's
how
the
exactly
same
the
lines,
story.
it's the same story then, right? If it's the same, if they didn't record new lines and like Troy Baker was on stage seeing the trailer for the first time and his voice is in it, then that tells me
I
he
meant
wasn't.
for the multiplayer game, they said it's whole new characters.
Oh,
Like the
right,
multiplayer game
right.
is The Last of Us Part 3, like essentially.
Or it's
Uh,
like The Walking Dead. Didn't they have Fear of the Walking Dead? Like it's
yeah.
basically now if they actually copy Fear of the Walking Dead, because you know how Last of Us take like little things from regular Walking Dead, I'm gonna be kind of annoyed. Like
Uh-huh.
okay, Neil Druckmann don't get as much credit as y'all be giving him. Like if you copy Fear of the Walking Dead, like how you copy Negan and Abby is like okay, bro. Like okay, how much props can we give you? Now, as far as the multiplayer, I know it's gonna be standalone. I hope that's not 70, but it
Oh, it's
probably
gonna be
will be
70.
70. I'm
Yep.
interested in that for it having its own story and
Yeah.
own characters, because Abby's story should have been its own thing. They should not have tried to incorporate that with Ellie's story, because that's what turned off so many fans in the beginning. And you had like all these people like outcrying against the game and stuff when it first came out. Like
Yeah.
it would have
And I
been
think I told you, like, I've said before how I think they should have done that story if they wanted to incorporate both. But I see what you're saying for sure.
yeah. Now they as far as like the gameplay, they can only tweak it to make it better. So I do expect it to be fun overall. I'm interested in the multiplayer for sure. I am interested. But at the same time, is the multiplayer online only, where the story and stuff is like one of those live service games? Like you know how PlayStation was supposed to have 10 of them. Is this one of them?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Ooh,
Like
that's a
I don't
good
know if
point.
anybody may have peeped that out, but this might be one of those 10. Um, as far as a live service, so yeah, they're setting traps, man, and people getting trapped. I'm trying not to get trapped. You ain't trapping my money.
Yeah.
You ain't trapping my money.
Oh man,
I don't know.
I've been burned way too many times for any of that stuff.
Yeah. Um, we'll see. Anything else you want to say about Last of Us?
Nah, nothing from The Last of Us.
All right. Now let's try to get
So
back
if
to
you,
the Summer Games Fest, or unless you got something else you want to say
yeah.
real quick.
Oh no, Summer Games Fest. So I'm gonna point out a few of the games that look interesting to me. Uh,
Okay.
Feel free to jump in if I missed any or if you want to flesh more of them out. But Witchfire looked pretty good. It was like a first-person shooter with magic and guns.
Yeah, I
Uh,
think I saw that. That was nice.
so that didn't look too bad. We gotta hop back into Outriders since I mean that's what I see on my screen right now. Uh, with the World Slayer stuff, I'm interested to see how that goes.
I'm not against
Um,
it. I got a vid coming out tonight that where I talked about it for a brief second where I said I thought it was mid. But the thing is like
yeah,
the co-op made it work for me.
yeah,
Like it definitely
yeah.
made it work. So yeah, I'm not against it. I'm still for it. How much is the multiplayer World Slayer with that girl in it?
Oof.
That's supposed to be
I
the
don't know. I think 40. So
40. That sounds about right.
yeah.
That sounds yeah.
I will say we got to jump in for some of the post game stuff. The expeditions. I did one on my own.
Okay.
For Outriders for the expedition, and it's basically horde mode. It's like get to this location, guard this artifact, then get to this location, guard this artifact, beat these creatures, beat a big one, and then you get the doodad. Like that's that, at least the first one that I played. That's what it was.
Okay.
But I mean, it was cool. Just like you're in this like kind of small area, and here comes just a horde of enemies. Good luck. And it was like a nice mix of enemies. They had some big ones in there, with some of the little ones, and it was a little stressful because I was on my own. But like,
Okay.
I managed it.
So you really like this game, Nick. You never uninstalled
It
it?
was cool. Yeah, I didn't uninstall it. It's cool. I mean, shooter, third person, and you got like superpowers. So,
Yeah.
like, it's
The
a lot of my
powers were
check
fun.
boxes.
I
Yeah.
will admit it was fun setting people on fire. I had the is he called the I don't know. It was the fire guy.
Pyromancer.
Pyromancer. I almost
Yeah.
said Tinkerer, but I'm like that's not. I'm like nah.
Yeah, nah.
But
I had Ooh, I don't even remember what mine is called anymore. But I could
you had the
teleport.
instant transmission dude, like whatever his name was.
Yeah.
He was instant transmission everywhere.
So that gameplay is fun, keeping track of where enemies are because you just like pop up to the other side of the screen.
Yeah. It was still
Yeah.
it's still fun. It's still a cool game. My issue was I didn't understand what was going on with Professor X and Star Lord in the story when they had those people. They had people like yes, it was still Square Enix and they were still working on Guardians of the Galaxy and other the other games and stuff like it looked like they were borrowing assets from it. And
Yeah.
and I kept thinking about Guardians of the Galaxy whenever I saw the one dude who died. I forgot his name. I don't want to say because it's probably spoilers anyway. But and then the one girl got
Yeah.
into the wheelchair. The first thing I started thinking was Professor X because she still technically had powers, but then she didn't. But it just kept changing. Like the story just kept changing. I
Yeah.
was just like
There's
when we
it
got to the
rushes.
final boss, I was just like he kind of just appeared. Like other bosses beforehand who had some story, like we get to certain points and we killed them, and then it was just like it just kept going.
Also, the final boss is not who the final boss should have been.
Yeah,
Compared to a previous fight, and then like the story just like it was like towards the end, it got like rushed. Like it felt like somebody was really taking their time, like a little too much time,
yeah,
and going into too much detail for like 15 chapters, and then like the publisher was like, "Yo, your book can only be 16 chapters long," and they're like, "Well, let's wrap up what we can." So like it moved pretty fast, and then of course the game has its not game breaking for the most part. Like one issue I had was a game breaking bug,
okay,
where for the character I would like teleport or do something, and then it wouldn't load me in, so I couldn't shoot or do anything, but the enemies could somehow still see me, and like it was just I just had to lose. But other stuff was like I don't know if I noticed from this gameplay footage. There's a whole part where my guns are invisible as I'm using them, so I was able to use them and everything. It was just they were
you couldn't
completely
see
invisible.
them. Okay,
Yep. So it has this little. It needs more polishing. And then of course some of it feels a bit repetitive, and then guns themselves like all just like it doesn't feel weighty like amongst some of them, but like it
Right.
was fine. Like I think like you said, playing the game through with somebody else helps.
It makes
a
it
lot.
better. It makes
Yeah.
it better. It made Zombie Army a lot better too.
Yeah.
Zombie Army is somewhat fun, and the enemy there, I don't even know if we can say his name. We probably shouldn't. The enemy in Zombie
but,
Army is like at least we know who he was, and he's lasted the whole time, and it was kind of understood who the enemy was to an extent. But yeah, I'm not opposed to jumping back in Outriders again. I would definitely have to do it as co-op because I don't see it as a game I would want to play as much on my own like that. I think co-op makes it fun, especially when you have your set of powers and then your co-op person, one or two other people, they got their set of powers, and then you're sort of like using them together. It's like that's when
Yeah,
you're doing like the X-Men stuff and the Avengers type stuff to an
yeah.
extent, and that's when it really becomes fun. But it's
Like a
like,
friend of mine, she had like a shield that she can put up that just
yeah,
caught bullets and would shoot them back at the enemies after collecting a bunch of them. So she would just hold the shield up and I would stand behind her and like shoot and everything, and then the other guy, he had like a turret that he made that would shoot back at the enemies while we're not getting hit because she's catching all the bullets. Then she shoots it back at them, and whoever's standing, I just teleport right behind them and take them out. So like
nice.
it was cool doing the power stuff.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. So yeah, I'm not writing World Slayer out. I am interested as long as we do it as co-op. And we ain't got to go to it right away, but yeah, it's still on the radar.
Oh yeah, we'll
Um
get to it eventually.
right. Anything else as
Jump.
far as the Summerfest? Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. So a few other things. So I still play Fall Guys.
Awesome.
And they have a new season coming out, like season 6, I believe, is coming out. And originally, it kept saying this game was going to be. I noticed it said free, for everybody, and I had gotten it off of PlayStation Plus, so it was free for me already. But it was saying free, 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 and
They're
then the
making it
trailer
free
at
to play.
Summerfest,
Hmm.
yeah. But the trailer at Summerfest, I noticed said free season 1 for everybody. And up until this point, everything is said Fall Guys is going free to play. Fall Guys is going free to play. Fall Guys is going free to play. And
Right.
then just this weekend, it specifically said season 1. And I was like, in my head, I was like, is season 1 releasing a little bit early than the newest season? Because it sounded like the free to play was going to tie in to the new season coming out. But then it's like, is the season 1 just saying like it's already available? Or is it straight up like now only part of the game is free and psych, you got to actually pay for the rest? Like
Yeah,
that's what I'm.
I think it is the because they got to hook you in, and then they got to get some money out of you some way. Um, is Fall Guys? Does it still have? Because I stopped playing, but does it still have the like what am I trying to say? Does it still have the audience? Is it still like a lot of people in there?
No, it's
No.
easy. Like if I can only really play on the weekends.
Okay.
During the weekday, there's just not a lot of people on. Where it's like before, when you hit the like join a game, it'll just you start getting counted in. Where if I try to play during the weekday, I've had games where like I would go to load in and it can't make it to 60 players.
Okay.
Like it'll be like 43, go do your round. And then certain game modes, like it'll have like the 3 or 4 options, and I'll click on one of them specifically to try and do, and it won't load because like not enough people are playing that game mode. On the weekends, you get a little bit more. People, hi, it's my cat. If you
Shout out
heard
to
him,
the cat.
but
The cat is always
yeah, you
welcome.
get. Aw.
Yeah, go ahead.
I ain't gonna tell them that. But
Okay.
so yeah, you get a little more, like you get a good chunk of more people playing on the weekend, so I do get consistent games.
Okay.
Um Whereas I remember earlier on when the game first came out, which I mean is for like every game, at any point I could pick up a game. But now it's just like if it's 3 p.m. on a Thursday and I'm home, I'm probably not gonna get a game in there. Or it'll take a while to load in.
So it's light during the week, and then it's more
Yeah.
active on the weekend. That makes sense.
Yeah, and I think it'll help when the next season comes out because I feel like this last season, could be just me, but I feel like it's been the current season for like way longer than other ones.
Okay.
Like usually, I notice the season lasted maybe 3 months, 2 to 3 months, around 3 months, and this one feels like it's been there for almost like the whole 2022 up until this point. So I think that could have been another reason why I lost people because it wasn't updating as much.
Okay. Okay.
So jumping back into Summerfest. Oh, go ahead. Go
I
ahead.
was just gonna say I recognize some of these clips, man. I recognize some of these moments. As if they
Yeah.
would show my character, the Snoop Dogg looking character, but now they showing yours.
Yeah. So, a couple other things from
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Summerfest. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Man, that looks great. They're doing up to 6 players.
Yeah, that's
co-op. Like when they were
big.
like, "Here's Casey," and I was like, "Cool, 3 turtles and Casey," and then it was like, "Nah, 6." That looks so chaotic,
Yeah,
but
it will
like
be.
in a fun way.
Yeah. That was a bigger deal for me overall. I used to play that all the time in the arcades, you know, the Chuck E. Cheese, the Jeepers Creepers, if anybody knows Jeepers Creepers. Or I can go way back and say Discovery Zone. Like I'm gonna take it back for some
Oh,
people.
Discovery Zone.
It was like, yeah, like when you were a little kid, when you like those games were like the beat 'em ups were always there, and a big one for me was always that Simpsons one where you had like Bart and his skateboard, Marge, and I think they were trying to find the baby. I think is it Maggie? Like
Yeah.
Mr. Burns like kidnapped the baby. You got to go through all these things. But anyways, like those are some of the games I used to play when I was younger, and I have some of the older TMNT games from just ROMs or whatever. But seeing that they bringing it back with that collection, and now they got this new one, it's like, yo, like this is what I want to see. I want to see some of the older games come back, that not a recent remake like Last of Us. Bring something back that is 15, 20 years old. That makes sense. Like this makes sense. And I am definitely looking forward to it. It makes sense to bring something like this back.
Oh yeah.
Did you see the movies that they did recently? The one with Seamus in it, like that
Yes.
one and the one before it. I
Yes,
thought
I did.
graphically it looked good. It was okay as a movie. I didn't dislike
So-
it, but I didn't like rave over it either.
I know some people complain about like how they look and everything, but like in my head, I was just like, if you have an anthropomorphic turtle, it's either gonna look like a mascot or like some monstrosity. So I didn't
Yeah.
necessarily mind the way that they look. Like it's still a mutation. It's fine. I thought they were fun. Like if you could turn your brain off for a little bit, it's just like ooh explosions. Like they were fun. They were fun movies.
Yeah, and I'm still a sucker for the '90s movies the most, especially
Same.
the first two. And what's crazy is like you'll see like those pictures of their suits, like it was like rotting or whatever. I was like, it was kind of like creepy and scary. It's like y'all could just like do something to preserve this or something. Why y'all just got to sit somewhere rotten and just like eating away? I'm like, what was it made out of? Like it almost was like, was it made out of real turtle flesh or something? Like why is it rotten like that? It didn't even make sense. But
Yeah.
anyways, the TMT game, or TMNT, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, I do want to play this. We are going to have to play this co-op eventually.
Yep.
And 6 people is like, yo, we got to get some fans of the podcast on here, man. We get all 6 people,
That'd
we
be
get us
cool.
all going. You know, however we figure that out, or just people we know, you know, and that sounds like a chaotic party chat too. That sounds like everything's going to be chaotic. But
In the best way. I do have
Yeah.
a few other games from the Summerfest.
yeah, what else? What's going on?
So really quick, so American Arcadia has my interest. It's like a stealth escape game that looks like. Do you remember the Truman Show? That was an old movie. Jim Carrey in it, where he finds out his life is a. Well, spoiler if you haven't seen it. He
I
finds out his
know
life is a
about it,
reality
and I know like in the conspiracy world they use that as a like, thing to go watch to open your mind up. But I haven't seen it yet, but I know about it and I do have it.
Yeah. So this game looks like that, where it's like it's supposed to be some city that's like a reality TV city that
Right.
everybody lives in, and then you're playing this one guy that's trying to escape.
Okay.
That seems to be the whole game. So I'm interested to see what they do with that. Like I want to see more from it. But that one looks pretty interesting. Did you see the Goat Simulator 2 trailer?
Yeah, I think it might be Ghost Simulator 3. I don't know. I think or it
Or
might be
3? Yeah,
2.
Goat Simulator 3. It's 3. You're right.
That was crazy because I
Um,
was just like, why they got they make a third one or I didn't even
yeah. So
know.
one, I don't. I
Yeah.
didn't know there was a second. You're right. It
Yeah.
is 3, but I didn't know it was a second. But then also the fact that they mocked Dead Island because they were like a game everyone's been waiting for, and they were doing the Dead Island trailer. And I was like, okay, this is gonna be cool. But then when I was staring at it, I was like, why did they change the graphics? And I like it didn't register in my head Goat Simulator at all. I was just like,
Yeah.
why'd they change the graphics to look like The Sims? That's what I was thinking. And I'm
Yeah.
like, what's happening to the game? And then when I just started seeing the goats running around, that's when I realized what it was. And I was like, okay, that's a clever trailer, but now I just remember how much I've been wanting to play that Dead Island game.
Yeah. That's crazy. I guess Ghost Simulator had a fan base that have like that's is that the only one that's got more than one simulator of the same. Like I know there's the farming
Sims.
simulator that does their
The
thing too.
Sims. They're like
Yeah,
on 6.
yeah, the Sims is his own
Uh
like cult following kind of thing at this point.
yeah. For the
Shout out
other
to all the
ones,
girl gamers who love that.
for the other ones, I don't. Yeah, I think there's just the like one. There's a good chunk that just consistently release DLC. So like the Sims releases DLC, but then they just make another one.
Right.
Versus like Train Simulator, that's been going since like way early 2000s, maybe even before that, and they've just consistently released DLC. So it's crazy because if you try to buy all the DLC, you're running like thousands of dollars. However, it's for the people who play that are usually like super like train enthusiasts, so they're only buying the trains that they really want
Hmm.
in the game. Anyways, but at the same time, it's a game that's been supported since the early 2000s. So like in a game like that, where it's just like if you had started early on, so it's just like every once in a while you're dropping $5 for a new train, as opposed to having to drop a full 60 for a new game that's the same, right? Like I feel like there's a difference there.
Hmm.
Um, but then on top of that, yeah, they just keep. But if you like go to buy DLC, it's like the old stuff. Like you could buy a DLC pack that's from 2008, and then a DLC pack that's like 2021, and graphically they're just very different.
Nice. Now speaking of
Yeah,
yes, now this is a great segue because speaking of spending thousands of dollars, let's talk about Diablo Immortal, where you gonna spend that mortgage for that Diablo Immortal. You ready to spend a mortgage, sir?
no. So one, any game that has a pay to win feature, I don't care how late game it is.
Yeah.
If it's pay to win, it's bad. Like in my head, it's a bad game.
Yeah.
And the fact that this is like mobile game done like okay, so I've played Diablo games before and I loved Diablo 3. This was like what was that PS3 era Diablo 3, so not the like remaster stuff.
Okay.
Because they done like it was like original Diablo 3 and I was like, yo, this game is amazing and things like that. So just to see it go from there to $100,000, 110,000, right?
Yeah, 110 is like so far
110,000
the top. Yeah.
just to get it. And they're like, well, some people may like be able to pay less. And if you say some people may be able to pay less, that means some people may be able to pay more.
I mean, okay. I don't. I'll just start off by saying this. I don't really pay for microtransactions, but how does something like this happen? How do we get to the point where it adds up to that? And like, because that makes the brands look so much worse. Like they're not the only ones who do that. You know, it's like I could see if everything added up and it was like a couple $100 or something overall. But how do you get to 100,000? Like realistically, who? So not even one person might pay for all of them. You know what I mean? Like somebody have to be an extra diehard that just so happens to have all the money in the world. But it's just like, how do you get to the point where collectively it costs $100,000 for a game? Like what?
Yeah. It's because, well, the business person that's putting it together, I'm sure I'm going to give them. I don't want to give them any sort of words of benefit of a doubt, but like I don't think in their head they're just going, "Hey, this person's going to give us $100,000." But what they're doing is like, we get $3 here and we get $5 here, and then here's this little jewel pack for 99. And then the famous trick for mobile games, you'll notice that like you can buy, let's say, a pack of 600 gems, right? Or 1,200 gems, but something cost 1,000 gems. So you buy two 600 packs, and now you got this little extra 200 coin that you can't do with anything. So then it forces you to buy two more $600 pack or 600 coin packs. So you have enough to buy something else, but then there's still some leftover change that you can't do anything with. So it's like they do things like that, and then they just say throw it all in the game, and then somebody else goes through and goes, well, let's see if somebody bought all of it. Because always their argument is you don't have to buy all of it.
Right. But there's a quote unquote little something for everybody. We got this for this person, this for that person, that type of thing, and they
put it in the game.
Yeah.
I'd rather spend the full price for a game than to be trapped with microtransactions for things I may want.
Right.
Right? Like, I understand if a free-to-play game has a few little cosmetic things that you can pay for, but then there should be things that you unlock within the game without having to grind like just put it in the game. Put it in the game. Yeah. Like, I it's this, again, to try and drain every ounce of money, like, from its consumers.
And the thing is, they're not. I mean, maybe overall they might get a little amount from the fan base, but most people are gonna look at it. So anybody who's not interested in this type of game but would have been interested, they look at that and they just gonna walk away, or they're gonna.
But they're not after them. The corporate people are after the diehard fans, like people who play Madden consistently and will like buy all the loot boxes, or Diablo fans who will like pay the money for this, because in their head they're just like, well, all the free stuff is still fun, and then they get towards the end and it's like, well, I still want to complete it, and I guess I'll just buy this one thing. It's fine. Oh, I didn't get the thing I want. Yeah, what's another $5? And yeah.
Now I don't know what else we can talk about this on, because I ain't spending $100,000. All right.
No.
If I have $100,000, it's going on a house. It ain't going on no game, mobile or physical, or any collection, anything. I'm buying a house. Get up out of here, Diablo.
Here's my other thing though. It's $110,000 for all this stuff, and at any moment they could just be like, we don't want to use this game anymore, and just turn it off.
Yeah.
That's it. And it's just gone. No more support. You can't open it anymore. It's not like a disc game where it's like, you can't download updates, but you can still play it. If it's pulled from the Play Store and you just can't open it, you just can't open it.
Yeah.
It's just gone.
Not I. Not me.
Yeah.
But you mentioned Madden. I have here, this was your topic. I'm not too sure because I didn't have any other details here, but all I have is it says in parentheses disgraceful. So that was something you said is disgraceful. Yes. Why is Madden disgraceful?
Okay. So I'll start by saying I am a Madden player, right? I've started with Madden 98.
Okay.
Then I've Madden 98, Madden 99, 2003, 2007, 11. I started doing like a every 4-year thing. But then when we got to like 2015, I pretty much had them all. 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22.
Okay.
I haven't spent 1 cent on any sort of loot box or microtransaction. And when we got towards the later games, I almost didn't really buy them. Some of them were given away for free through like PlayStation Plus.
Right.
Or if I did buy it, it was during Super Bowl season where they're like, here, you can get the new one for like $15. And I said, okay, sure. I have an extra 15 from buying this other game. I'll go ahead and grab it. Like, that's usually how I get Madden now.
Right.
And the reason is because ever since like 2015, it became a microtransaction thing, where it's like they took away you creating your own team. The new mode that they really support is just here's loot boxes. Buy loot boxes, like the Ultimate Teams thing. It's just constantly here's loot boxes, and they just pull things away. And every year they've also been advertising like more realistic on the field, but they try to use like fancy words like this current one, field sense, which the thing that they're describing was supposed to be the things that they described for 2018, where they were like, this is why you should play 2018. It was basically like the players act more accurately on the field. And then for 2022, they're like field sense. The players act more accurately on the field. So what's disgraceful about this one? John Madden just passed away.
R.I.P.
Yep. And they are marketing off of his name without doing anything really extra. And that's what I don't like. Like, this should have been and I know they still don't, but this should have been the one where it's like, look, we're going to honor it correctly, and we're going to, like, really fix stuff, listen to feedback, throw in all the old stuff that we've been, like, taking away and maybe slowly introducing back in and things like that. But instead, they're just like, you could buy the Madden edition, and they have this thing called X's and O's that they didn't really fully explain, and then their field sense, which was supposed to be like, hey, you could make a more accurate pass, but it doesn't look any different. Or like when they go, like, the players act more accurately on the field. However, there's a person running zone coverage. For those who know football, like, basically they run to a specific spot on the field. Mm-hmm. And then clearly there's the, like, for defense, they run to a specific spot on the field. An offensive guy is near them and clearly open. Like, they're in their zone and they're open. So they're an ideal person to throw to. And what the computer will do is go, well, I got to stand in this spot instead of rightfully covering that guy. So then it's just a free pass. Right? They're not trying to do anything to, like, play like a real player, but that's the advertisement for it. So it's like, really, they're just giving you Madden 22, but with John Madden's image on the front, which Madden 22 is just Madden 21. Madden 21 was just Madden 20. They even showed it for some of the, like, people showed it in the custom arenas for the older ones, like Madden 21, I believe it was, or maybe Madden 20, where if you go through the, like, zoom in for the arena and the images and you go around, it still had the previous year's logos.
And they do they have him on two covers? Is it like a Madden? I saw that they were putting him on the main cover, but is there like a deluxe version or something? They put him on there as well,
where it's like he's gold or something like that.
Do you know what's the difference?
The deluxe one is it's just going to be some things for Ultimate Teams. It's going to be, here's like a better Tom Brady, or here's a shirt, but this jersey has camouflage color on it.
Okay. That's it.
There's nothing else, but and you get like a couple days early access. So like you get to play it 2 days before.
What is that even gonna do? Like, what? So you ain't gonna have nobody to play against. You ain't gonna have nobody to play against,
and you're a beta tester. That's all.
Oh my gosh.
So it's just, I don't know. I felt like they could have done something. Like, one of the biggest things that was, like, taken away since like 2013 or 14 was they removed the ability to create your own team. Something minor, just design your own team.
Right.
They could have thrown that back in there, right? Like, Madden helped jumpstart this franchise. Now jumpstart your own franchise. Something easy. There you go. There's your tagline. Or how NBA Live, right? Has an entire WNBA division in there, right? So it's like you have your NBA stuff and then your WNBA stuff. Maybe 2K has it as well. They could have done something where people have been wanting college teams.
Right.
Go all out, pay some of the colleges, like pay the top 8, just the top 8, and then have a mode where you can play as college teams, and that's even the place where you can be like there's 7 teams here, and you can design your own, do a little tournament thing to try and get through, or pay some of the USFL to use some of their teams, or pay the XFL since the Rock's bringing that back to like advertise those teams, like something extra to bring, but instead they're just giving you the same thing.
You know what? This is extra, but I just want to mention this because you just brought him up. The Rock did not need to be at the Summer Games Fest. I just thought about it for a second, and I'm just like, he showed up and just like, he plugged everything. And I mean just every little thing he can think of, from Black Adam to his drink. I'm like, who is drinking that? Anybody drinking that? I ain't trying to, listen, I'm a biggest fan of The Rock as anybody else, but I'm just like go, if you ain't gonna get in the ring, or if you ain't, like, I don't know, I'm not gonna be disrespectful. I'm not.
Well, no, let's be real. So, as you know, and now everybody else can know too, I am a DC fanboy. Like, I am a big fanboy of DC Comics. Like, okay. I'm one of those people who can sit there and I'll criticize Batman v Superman with everybody else, and I will still call it one of the best movies ever. Like, I don't care. I know what I am. Like, I know what I am. I'm a DC fanboy. Okay. That Black Adam trailer didn't need to be there. Like, it had nothing to do with anything. Like, it didn't need to be there.
This was a Summer Games Fest kind of thing, because it was just like the Xbox show last year. They had this pattern where it was just every game was back to back, and it was just back to back, back to back. You barely saw anybody. And then the Game Awards show, or Summer Game Fest, is like, the second they show something, now we got to interview people in the middle. And I understand, like, you probably should show some respect to the developers. It's just like, that should be a separate show, though. It kind of should be a separate show. Cause that's what, like, I saw people was like sort of trashing the show a little bit. And it's only because they don't want to see that. And I don't think that's a bad thing that you don't want to see it. You just simply don't want to see it. It sucks that you don't want to, like, see that. But, like, the superstar is the game. It's not the actual developer. Sometimes they're not even really there for that. Sometimes they just want to just give a brief synopsis of their game or whatever. But a lot of them don't really have a presence, like a camera presence, or they're kind of antisocial a little bit, and then just a little bit awkward sometimes. And it's just like, they don't need to be there. Now, The Rock is somebody who's not necessarily, he's not antisocial at all, right? He can control a very big crowd. It's just a time and place for everything. It's like, I would rather see you do your shtick in a wrestling ring, but not at a game show. Not at a game show.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I mean,
you know what? You brought up The Rock, and it made me think. It's kind of a weird transition, but it made me think of Fast and Furious.
I was about to say, like, oh my God, we're about to trash The Rock for like 5 minutes. I don't want to trash.
No, I just wanted to.
You can trash Fast and Furious all you want. I ain't worried about trashing that, especially that crap
Vin Diesel game.
I don't know.
that crap
art
Fast and Furious game, but
it's the Ark something where he in the forest or something. It kind of came and went. Ain't nobody play that. Who played that?
Did it ever come out?
I don't know. Who cared? I don't know the name of it right now. You don't know the name of it. We ain't got an audience yet, so nobody's gonna say it in the comment section. It came and went. Sorry, Vin Diesel. It's gone. That's it. We didn't watch. You know what else came and went, Vin Diesel? That Fast and Furious game. Y'all had to delist that bad boy because it was killing the actual Fast and Furious name. Yeah, I went there.
You know what? I'm all for, like, fandom stuff of creating a character and throwing it into a, like, universe that's already in existence. That was not a good one to do that with.
Nah, it wasn't.
It wasn't.
I think if I remember correctly, the Fast and Furious game, like, they did not allow you to run over nobody. Like, if you tried to run over somebody, it was like this invisible wall or something that bounced you back in the middle. From what I was seeing, it was just like, no Grand Theft Auto here. We don't do that here. You can drive under a rocket. We'll do that. It's like, okay, as ridiculous as that was, but no. I stopped at like Fast and Furious like 6, I think. So I
Past
haven't.
me. I made it to Tokyo Drift.
They didn't have. They got the spinoff. What was it? Hobbs and Shaw, and then somehow John Cena's in it now, and The Rock is not in it no more. Is that the case? Or I don't know if they're in it at the same time. I don't know. It's too many. I stopped halfway through. I'm done.
There's more people in it now too, though, right?
I don't know.
They're like they keep advertising like this person's in it.
Where Bow Wow at? They left Bow Wow out. They said no more Bow Wow. Bow Wow can't be in the. They Ludacris, everybody, Tyrese, everybody. Yeah. No Bow Wow. Bow Wow can't be in there.
He gonna be the surprise.
I said Tyrese. Is Tyrese in there? Yeah, he is in there. And he. Yeah. When I think Tyrese, I think Baby Boy, Baby Boy, and Transformers. I don't think Fast and Furious is.
All right, so real quick, there was a lot of games that look pretty cool at the Summerfest.
Yes.
The JRPG stuff looked cool. I will say, so they're making a One Piece game that's not just a fighting game, right? It looks like it actually does like stuff with a story and everything, and that's cool. I'm not the biggest One Piece fan because there's like 1,000 episodes, so I'm not like it's cool and all, but I'm like, can we get that for like My Hero Academia or
all of
Jujutsu Kaisen, like some of the other ones where it's not just here's a fighting game, right?
Yes.
Like something where it's like, give me a story.
I'm for it, and I also would like somebody to fix Attack on Titan, the game, so that I can pick it back up. I already uninstalled it. I actually told myself, you know what, I'm probably just gonna play it like 5-10 years from now as a ROM because they didn't want to fix the real thing, and maybe the fan base would fix it years later.
It was the horse trying to go into the wall, right?
Yeah, that, and then there was like some dude who was like kind of flying basically on top of the other one, like on top of a horse, and he was stuck in place, and the game wouldn't progress. I never got to see the female Titan in the game. This is a game based on the first 3 seasons. It broke before anything even happened. I couldn't play nothing.
Dang.
I couldn't play nothing. I tried and I stuck with it for a while. I could not play anything. It just broke.
So sorry.
The PS5 version or PS4 version on PS5. I don't know.
I was about to get that game, but I guess not.
It's fine. It's fine because I am way more into the series. I don't really want to talk about because I ain't finished it yet, and I don't think you're finished with it either.
Nah.
But yeah, so yeah, that's that. I do have.
Go ahead.
No, I'm sorry. Well, let's stick with Summer Games Fest because it seemed like we broke that all over the place. Is there anything else? Like, I have a big section here that says Street Fighter 6, and I don't think we really touched on it.
Nah. So we can talk about that, but I'll let you lead that one. I have one more from my end. Gotham Knights. So they showed off Nightwing. A lot of those outfits looked a little weird. Like he had this weird samurai one, which I think comes from one of the movies. And then it looked a little weird. Some of it looked cool. Like he used a grappling hook to get to a top of one building, and I was like, awesome. And then he used a little like Breath of the Wild glider to get down back to the ground, and I'm like, well, there goes that glider again. But
you know what? That trailer. Go ahead, and I'm gonna say about.
I was gonna say his combat looked a little crisp. However, it was cinematic, so I know that's not what it looks like in the game because we saw the Red Hood Nightwing gameplay where it wasn't as like I'm not saying it needed to be exactly Arkham, but it did. It needed to be exactly Arkham, like reverse and like hit and things like that look cleaner. And you know me, I'm still upset that like Red Hood, like my third favorite DC Comics character, like behind Superman and Superboy. Red Hood is just fart hopping across the skies with
like
the ability
powers?
he doesn't have. That's not something he has.
That's not his powers.
No.
It's his technology, man. I don't know. He used some Batman technology from the Batcave because Batman's dead in this game. Wink, wink.
that game was a system seller for me. Like the original plan was to buy a PS5 with that game.
But you already got
on
it
release
now.
until I got the PS5
You
version
couldn't
because
wait. You couldn't wait. This.
that, and I told myself I'd wait until the PS5 I could pick it up in the store, and I was able to go to a store and just pick it up.
With the gun. You used the gun.
No.
Okay, I'm just playing. All right.
But no, like I originally that was the plan, was that was going to be a system seller for me. Then they just showed gameplay footage, and it just went, dang, I don't even know if I want this now. Like it hurt. It still hurts.
I still stand by my statement. It looked like a mobile game to me. It looked like an extra polished mobile game. It reminds me of the GTA trilogy remaster thing where they polished the mobile version. It kind of has that look to me. I thought that the trailer that they showed where they kind of abbreviated everything, it looked to me like they were hiding what was shown before because they made it more of a trailer instead of just gameplay. Because in the gameplay, it looked a lot slower. It wasn't like jump cut to this and then you're doing that. It was just like you fought a few people and then like a chime and a number will go off on top of your head. Like, yeah, you just completed a mobile game mission. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you were doing the gliding where he's got the stiff arms thing and he's like kind of holding on for dear life. The way in the new trailer, it looked like he kind of swung over there real quick. But when you were seeing the gameplay footage, it was like, nah, he hanging there, you know. And it's just, yeah. Here's the thing: it's. I thought the game was a little bit set up for failure overall because you're making a Batman game where essentially you don't play as Batman, and overall,
which is perfect for me. I can understand other people not liking that, but like Batman, to be honest, is one of my least favorite people in the Bat family.
Well, it works for the hardcore.
So
it should work for the hardcore, but I don't know if it works for the masses like that. But overall, it looked like maybe they were going for an art style or something that was similar to what the New Age is all about, which has that somewhat cartoony look. I don't want to go as far as say Fortnite. I don't think that's fair. But it looks like it's going for something similar to what Saints Row is doing in a way with their art style. And
yeah,
I'm gonna just keep it 100. Batman Arkham Knight looked better, and it came out in 2015, 16, somewhere on that time frame. It looked better. It looked better in gameplay. It looked better as in resolution, and it's not supposed to look better in resolution. It looked overall better. Like from gameplay footage that I've seen, real world gameplay footage, trailer gameplay footage, as well as just regular trailer footage of Arkham Knight, it looks better than Gotham Knights.
Yeah,
100% all the way around. 100% all the way around. That's how it looks to me.
Yeah.
I ain't gonna lie. I was laughing when I first saw him holding the glider and the other dude who was kind of like hopping on air and everything. I was in my head like, yo, he is gonna be mad. I know he.
I wanted to punch my screen like when I saw both.
I was laughing when I saw that because you're the only one who wanted this game the most. Like, it was not number one to anybody else I know. It was number one to you. And this is what they gave you.
Yup.
This is what they gave you.
Hurt. It hurt so much, man. It's just crazy that the Batgirl Robin gameplay that they showed, like, when the game was first announced, looked way better than everything that they're showing now. Like, that initial stuff where it was just like, we're just kind of starting out the game. Like, it looked great, and that's why I was like, I can't wait to see how Red Hood plays and how Nightwing plays, and then they showed it, and it was just like...
The initial footage looked like they reskinned Arkham Knight for a quick presentation piece. That's what it looked like to me.
And
because this don't look like the same game.
Should have been.
This don't look like the same one. It just don't.
It doesn't, and that's what this game should have been. It should have been a reskin. At this point, it would have been better.
I think what makes it bad for me is that I think everybody going into this expects Batman to not be dead, which to me kills the story to it. And then it's like if the gameplay is not that good, or at least it just doesn't look that good, and everybody already has assumed the story, it's like you're only selling it off of name value at that point. You selling off it, which is still will sell off of name value, but it's just
you know what they needed, which I know they not because more than likely he is alive, but they should have showed them like burying a body.
a body.
They should have showed the group burying a body before, like, just not getting a video.
He busts his hand out like he
burned.
Undertaker or something. Like you see the little bat things on the side of it, like
oh man,
just blah come right out. I don't know. So is it still day one? Is it still day one? Is it a pre-order with a statue and a $300 and?
I was gonna buy that, man. I was gonna buy that $300 version, and it would have been one of those like I shouldn't do this, but whatever.
They would have got you like Diablo, man. It would have been Diablo style. They would have been like, yeah, you know, $100,000 for all these microtransactions. It looked like it's gonna have microtransactions. I don't know what to tell you. It does.
Yeah,
it looked like it's gonna do it. And I feel like they're gonna hide it like Gran Turismo in the beginning.
Yep, it's sadly a fear for anything that has loot in it that it's gonna be microtransaction. It always looks that way, but like, I mean, look at Avengers. Like Avengers burned me too. So much so that I heard Guardians of the Galaxy was really good. And I keep hearing it's really good, and I'm still hesitant of buying it, even though it's like, I know it's not in there. It's like, but what if it is? What if it is and no one said anything?
Well, I think that's confirmed. I think that one is confirmed good and confirmed to not be the same. I think you'd be okay with that. And I think they slashed the price in half. It is also available on the Xbox side in their Game Pass. But you can still get it for $30, like even on Amazon. I think Guardians like that's something I haven't played it yet either, but that is something that was on my radar to get with everything when I get like the big bulk of like Christmas or Black Friday sales and stuff. Like I usually scoop everything, and that's on the top of my list of stuff to get. As far as older games now, it's slightly older, but. Yeah, man. Any last words on Gotham Knights? This is
no.
You're done.
Unfortunately, just hurts.
All right. Polish it better. Whoever is working on this, I can't think of you right now. It's not Rocksteady. Polish it better, please.
I think it's what is it? Warner Bros. Montreal.
Whoever it is.
Something like that. Yeah.
Y'all got money. Batman supposed to be a billionaire. Fix it. Fix it with your money. Fix it. All right. Another one I have here. We didn't mention anything on it. Street Fighter 6. That was probably one of the bigger names at the Summer Games Fest. I have a thing here that in my notes it said it was controversy. I don't know how big of a controversy it is, but one of the characters, Cammy, they're putting the clothes on her. She had more, I can't really describe it. There's like a bikini type thing in her fighter suit, and her new version, she's gonna be more covered up, and I guess that ticks some people off. I don't know. I don't really care about it.
So Cammy had she always wore the bikini, the one piece bikini, and now she has pants.
They did her like Bugs Bunny. Or not Bugs, Lola Bunny. They did her like Lola Bunny. They did the Lola Bunny with her. That's what they did. But as a game, it still looked good. I'm pretty sure anybody who want to see it, they can get the PC version and mod it back in. Or worse.
It's going to be another costume in there.
It's going to be worse because I've seen what they've done with Resident Evil games. So it'll be worse. Yeah. But yeah, like... As a game, it still looks great. It looks like it's going to be like more of an open world kind of thing where you go to the fight. Like they was on the street on the basketball court or something. He was going to the fight in the background and then they start fighting or whatever. So I did not buy Street Fighter 5. I was given it, or they gave it to me in PS Plus. I think that's how I got it, if I'm not mistaken. But I
Yep.
don't think it was the Championship Edition, which was the like, haha, you don't get any of the characters edition until you buy the
Yeah.
deluxe kind of thing. I don't know if they're doing that with Street Fighter 6. I haven't seen anything like that yet, but just based off what they shown, it looks good. I will admit.
Looks good.
Yeah.
However, once I heard how Street Fighter Five went, right when it was like here's like 8 people, and
Yeah.
then buy the rest. In my head, it's like nope. I gotta see that confirmed roster because even for this one, I think the first trailer showed 4, and then for the Summer Game Fest, they showed off Guile, right? Is that his name?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, Guile.
I think they showed them there.
So
And
I was
they
like,
always
and
show
that's it.
Ryu. Yeah.
Yeah, and in my head, I was like, that's it. That's all that's in the game. Like, it's like a joke, but like, yeah, I
I
gotta see who else.
I
Is
don't
in
know
it.
if they're gonna do it the same way this time. It just doesn't give off that impression initially, but again, we don't know because there were some people who did get burned a little bit with Gran Turismo. I know that was a thing, but
Uh-huh.
it's a different company. You know, it's not. They're not under this is Capcom, so um,
Yeah, I know.
yeah,
It looks good. I was not the biggest Street Fighter player
yeah.
growing up. Like, I played what my godbrothers had, and then like slowly built my own gaming identity. But like, I started off like the first 2 pretty much video games I ever played. It was Tekken and Armored Core. So that's like what started my
Okay,
journey. So like my fighting game was always Tekken, if I had to choose one. And then of course Injustice came out, so I went with C stuff. But yeah, I was always more Tekken as opposed to Street Fighter. Well, when I play Street Fighter games, I have a few. I have the one that they gave away free. I have one on Switch. Uh, Fun. They're definitely fun. I gotta get better, but they're fun.
like Street Fighter was huge, huge back in the day, right next to Mortal Kombat, and
Uh,
it's still a big name overall. But so many people have jumped into the 2D fighting scene, so to see them try to do something 3D ish a little bit more, it's interesting, but
yeah,
it kind of just looked like it's more walking similar. Like you walk to the fight and then you still do the fight the same way. It's just they
yeah,
add that middle part to. I guess it gives you maybe it's RPG ish where you go fight these people in different areas, back alleys, and then you go to a bigger fight once you leveled up. Maybe I don't know all
which
the
would be cool.
detail. That's
Or
probably fine though. Yeah,
yeah, you get to do the fights in your order. It gives you a chance to kind of get to know people more
yeah.
without it feeling like just cutscene.
Okay, and so PS Plus upgrade cap.
Yeah, so over in Japan, because it released out in the Asian countries first,
Yeah.
there was an issue where there was like a conversion chart that we've seen before, where it shows you that if you've stacked your PS Plus subscriptions, it'll like remove some days if you want to upgrade to a higher tier. But there
Hmm.
might have also been an option where you can just upgrade but keep the same amount of years. However, that wasn't really explained. So when people were upgrading, the system seemed to automatically try and do that one and force them to pay the difference in cost for where they have upgraded. So like a guy was charged like $300 or so
Yeah, I saw
because
the
his
highest one
subscription.
was around that amount from what I saw.
Yeah, and it was because his subscription ended in like 2027. But even in the article that I read, another guy who was about to click it and decided not to, his subscription ends in like 2030. Uh
Yeah,
so PlayStation like went back, gave them their money back, was like it was a mistake. Uh
a
and
mistake.
things like
Wink,
that.
wink. It was a mistake. Wink, wink.
Yeah.
It was an
Yeah.
error, a PR error. We'll put it that way.
But
Now,
I am.
just to confirm for anybody who might watch this and don't know, so as long as you don't try to upgrade anything that you paid in advance, you still get with no extra cost.
Yes. So if you've stacked your PS Pluses and you don't try to upgrade, you
Okay.
get it for that many years for the essential tier, the low tier. If you had stacked PlayStation Now, you get the highest tier until that ends
Okay.
automatically. And that's because the highest tier is just PlayStation Now fused with PlayStation Plus. Um Anyone who tries to upgrade, I believe the option is it gives you like less days converting to like, you spent 120 bucks, which was like 2 years of PlayStation Plus Essential, but if you want to upgrade to the highest tier, then you only get a year because it converts to the
They
same
convert
amount.
it. Yeah, they take it away from you, I guess.
So I want to see how it works when they roll it out here because I heard for upgrading and keeping the same amount of years that they're thinking about capping a high price. So it's like if you've already paid for like 3 years, which would be like 180 bucks at essential tier, and you want to upgrade to the highest tier, they may charge you like 180 bucks and then you get the highest tier for 3 years. Or it may be a thing where they're like, we're only going to charge you at most $120. And if you had it for 2 years, then that's what you have. If you had it for three, then you got a free year, which would be the most consumer friendly thing Sony has ever done.
Right, right,
So I doubt it, but there are companies that do that where they give you this is the most we'll charge because they know even if they slightly eat the cost, there isn't that many people that are using it to where it looks way better for PR as opposed to like the cost that they lose. But we won't know until they roll it out here.
okay. All right. I
And
don't know if there's anything else we need to say on that, but the only other thing I have here is the IGN Expo.
yeah,
And
so since Summerfest started, every day is getting its like own thing. And on Friday, IGN had an expo where it was pretty much all in game. Now I will say this compared to Summerfest, to me it was a little better for the IGN show because they didn't really have people on stage talking, right? Like like they would show a trailer for Summerfest, and then sometimes they have developers out there talking that we
right.
mentioned before. For this one, it was like, "Hey guys, we got some action games coming up," and then it was like 5 trailers in a row, and then like it goes back to the IGN people. It was like, "Wow, those were cool action games." Well, if you like action, maybe you like horror. Here's some horror games, and it'll just like 6 in a row, like it's just trailer, 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 trailer. Um, so yeah, it was a whole like hour-and-a-half show of just non-stop trailer, and there was so many games. They're all indie. Like it was nothing. I think the biggest name game that they had there was two of them. And it was the first and the last game. So the first thing they showed off was DLC for Aliens Fireteam Elite. So that is
Okay.
actually getting a DLC. Um, so that was the first one that they showed there, and like the big new thing that I saw, they were fighting like little spiders, like things. So I'm like, oh, that's creepy. They were just all on the ground. And then the last game that was shown, and I'm not quite sure exactly what it is all the way, but it's The Walking Dead: The Last Mile.
I do think I
Which
saw something about that. Yeah.
okay,
Yeah.
the trailer showed some guy hunting, and then guy number two walks up with a gun on some like give me your bag, and when he leans down to dig into the bag, guy number one like wrestles him to try and get the gun away,
Hmm.
accidentally shoots him, but then he drags the guy he's still alive. He just has like a minor gunshot wound, but he's like dragging him on the ground, and he's yelling, "Open the gate!" And then somebody opens the gate, and then it was like their survival is on your hands. Walking Dead: The Last Mile. Like that was it. So I
Nice.
don't know what type of game it is. Like when I saw that their survival thing and it was like a giant gate with like a blocked off city, my first thought was that it was one of those like city builder, like build a defense during the day and then hope the zombies can't break in at night sort of game. The graphics looked slightly better than, a little slightly more realistic, I would say, than a Telltale game, so maybe like Fortnite-ish.
Okay.
But yeah, I have no idea what type of game it is. But those are the two like games with like some name power behind them for those that don't already know the game, and then everything in the middle, which there was a lot in the middle, were all just indie.
But then PlayStation also has their VR version or a different Walking Dead game,
Yep.
right? And so,
Yep, Walking Dead, Saints and Sinners 2 or something like that.
yeah, and VR2 overall, I'm still interested in it. I ain't interested in paying for it, but I'm interested in it because I know that junk gonna be expensive. It's gonna be expensive. Yeah. The only other thing I want to touch on real quick before we get done with games altogether, if I want to go back to, there was an indie show that Nintendo did, and they showed a crab game. It was like a crab Souls game where you play this crab.
Why did that look so good?
I don't know. I just thought about it. I was like, some people probably like roll their eyes at it and stuff like, oh, this is like, like a cheap knockoff or something. I kind of get it, but I don't know. I was drawn to it. I liked it. I liked how it looked. I kind of want to try that out. That's an indie game. I might actually stream that. That might be a Twitch thing down the line when I figure all that out.
Yeah, it does look fun.
It looked fun. It looked cool. That was like the only thing from that show that I liked, though. but it did. It was like the only thing I liked. But yeah.
Real quick from the indie show, there is two other games that I wanted to just two that I wanted to point out from that.
Sure.
That was a good. I would suggest checking it out. There's like a little bit of everything for everyone. They broke it down into categories.
Yeah.
For the trailers, they're like, here's the action games, and then it was like, here's the horror games, and then here's the racing games and things like that. But two of them that I want to point out. One of them was Autopsy Simulator.
Oh my god!
Now it was thrown in the horror game section, so it looks like something scary is gonna happen.
I bet.
But from the name, it looks like it could just be like a good, you want to be a doctor. Here's a sim game.
What's that? I don't say the word, but it starts with an N, and then we also have PC mods, and then there's that, and so I'll leave it at that. Other than that, any other gaming news, anything you want to go over?
Yeah, another game that you might be interested in because you reminded me with the VR. Okay. It's called Blockbuster VR, where it looks like it looks like a joke game, but it's like basically it looks like you might be like an actor in kaiju movies. You have to play the kaiju, so you go back, you figure out which one you want to be, like Godzilla. I don't know if it's like name brand. It looked like it could be knockoff ones.
Probably not. Yeah.
Like you design yourself like one of the kaijus, like by picking the costume you want, and I guess it gives you like maybe different abilities to use in the city. And then in VR mode, you just go around and destroy the city, but it's like very cartoony as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna have to check that out. I'm a big Godzilla fan, and one thing I remember is that PS4 game for Godzilla was ridiculous online. I think it was like $300. I'm like, it's not even old. It's not even, well, it's probably old now, but still, I don't know if they didn't print enough or whatever. The game was trash. It looked trash, but still, it's like
$300.
$300. Nah, no, thank you. All right, well, we could probably end it here, at least for this one. This is pretty good. So yes, this is episode 1. Maybe it'll be much better on episode 100. We'll see. But other than that, I don't know. Any closing words for you?
Yeah, man. My final thought, I guess, to sum up everything we said today is whoever's out there listening, please release a AAA Power Rangers game. That's it.
All right. And the last thing I'm going to say is for everybody listening, make sure you wash the back of your ears. All right. We're done.
Yeah.